I've got another video for Cardfight Vanguard today, and it is going to be the deck updates on Liael Amorta and Liael Ordium. I figured, well, since it's the same character and I did this before back when Ordium came out, I might as well continue to do Amorta and Ordium together. So, let's begin with Amorta. She has the least amount of stuff added, while Ordium did get quite a few new cards, as this is only her second wave of support, so she got a lot more improvement this time, other than Amorta, who only got one new card, although that one new card is pretty good. So of course, we have the starter for Amorta, the grade 1, the grade 2, and then of course Amorta herself, or Liael Amorta more properly. Three more copies of Liael Amorta in the main deck. Four copies of Blessed Dragon Gabrielius. Four copies of Adiris. Four copies of Sequence Wizard. Four copies of the new card, Knight of Bright Blade, Regila, I believe is her name. Regila? Sure. When this is placed on a rearguard circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Liael in its card name, you can Soul Blast 1, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to one grade 3 or greater Liael card, grade 3 or greater card with Liael in its card name, or up to one Blessed Dragon Gabrielius. From among them, reveal it and put it into your hand, and then during your turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Liael in its card name, this unit gets 5,000 power, and if your rearguard or bind zone has a Gabrielius in it, it gets 10,000 instead. So that's pretty cool. So the new card really incentivizes you to use Gabrielius with Liael Amorta instead of with Liael. However, it's still very good in both. 3 copies of the special booster for Liael Amorta. I've kind of gone back and forth on this one. Its additional effect isn't honestly all that convenient. It doesn't really go off all that often, but the 15k boost it gives you behind Liael Amorta is more than enough to run it, in my opinion. 4 of the back row restander for Liael Amorta. 4 of the counter charging dog from Keter Sanctuary, Graugon. 4 PGs. Of course, you drop one of them for Elementaria. 4 of the effect crits. My effect ones are in Liael, so we'll replace these ones with the 4 crits, or whichever art of criticals that you want. And 3 of any of the non-effect crits that you want. Again, there's so many. Just pick whichever art you want. 4 fronts. Specifically the effect fronts. 4 heals. And this would be Idasvaro or any of the other generic over triggers. However, I only have one Idasvaro, and that's in Varga right now. So, right now we have Amorta. Oh, however, in my opinion, Amorta isn't all that bad. Okay, so we'll now move on to Liael Ordium. Again, Liael Ordium got a huge boost in set 7. Of course, we've got the starter for Ordium. The grade 1 that lets you get your destined timepiece. The grade 2. And Liael Ordium herself. And then, of course, the destined timepiece. 3 copies of Ordium. 4 of Anachronos Dragon. 4 Distorted Banes. 4 of one of the new cards, Instant Asunder Colossus. This is essentially a grade 2 version of Anachronos Dragon. It has an effect in the gauge zone at the beginning of the battle phase. If this card is in your regress gauge, you can counterblast 1. Choose a card from your drop, put it into the gauge, and if you put a card, you can call this card to a regard circle, and then its other effect. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Liael in its card name, this unit gets the auto effect of, when this unit attacks, you can Soul Blast 2, and then draw a card, and then it gets 5,000 power. For Almanac Colossuses. 4 Omnidotana. 4 of the technical countercharger for Liael Amorta. When this is placed on a regard circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Liael in its card name, you can Energy Blast 2, choose up to 1 grade 3 normal order without Regalius piece in your drop or face up in your damage zone cards, put it into hand. If you put it from the damage zone, you can put the top card of your deck into the damage zone, and then during your turn, if you have 2 or more regress gauges, this gets 5,000 power. Now, I call this the technical countercharger of Liael Ordium because if you flip down the Distorted Banes that may pop up in your damage zone, you then retrieve those from the drop, or not from the drop, from the damage zone, pull them out, and then replace it with the face-up top card of the deck, thus technically being a countercharge. Of course, this won't always happen, so Ordium kind of needs a more reliant countercharger still, but this is fine for now. Just know what you're doing, manage your counterblasts properly. Three of the Dark State version of the card that puts a order into the drop zone for which you can then use it from there. This being Averus Wrestler. 4 PGs, of course, you drop 1 of them for Elementaria. 4 of the effect crit. Again, my effect crits are in another deck, and in my opinion, most Dark States decks, as they soul charge already, don't really need the effect ones. So, 4 of the non-effect or effect ones, doesn't really matter. 4 more of the non-effect crits. Four heals. And 3 draws. And the Dark States over trigger. And that is it for Liael Amorta and Liael Ordium. I should have another Set 7 video out this week as well. Look forward to that one.